spite of your selfish ways, there is a beautiful soul in there somewhere.
Clarence is here. Jesus of Nazareth. You can't even buy power like that. I want to be like that in 10 years. I want to be like that now. Knowledge is stronger than belief. Clarence, he moved miracles. I have a plan.
Guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great evening. Today we're going to talk about the Book of Clarence trailer. We're going to review the trailer. Many of you who watch the channel probably aren't quite aware or familiar with the channel. Actually started off a lot to do with reviews of what have been certain types of educational entertainment, some financial information as such. And so we've kind of had our genesis in that area. I think now in cryptocurrency, although we will cover specific crypto projects we think are good, we've seen crypto kind of go a little bit crazy and the people get a little bit crazy. So we're going to be very selective with the cryptocurrency projects that we talk about. But we're going back to our roots a little bit in discussing this movie trailer, The Book of Clarence. So what I want to say about the Book of Clarence is it feels oddly familiar in relation to the movie The Life of Brian, done by the Monty Python team. Monty produced things like Monty Python, The Holy Grail as such. And so this movie is reminiscent of these type of comedy parodies of these biblical-like movies as such. And so there's some differences I'm already seeing in the Book of Clarence. We're going to roll through some more of the video or the trailer clip and talk about that. But I will say The Life of Brian, just to give a quick detail about what it was about. The Life of Brian is about a Christ-like figure who's mistaken as the Christ child, a person by the name of Brian. And basically it's him trying to get out of it. He doesn't want to be in association with with that. So it's a very interesting funny movie. Now the Book of Clarence already has a different feel, but before I say more about it, let's roll a little bit more of the trailer.
I can see! I can see! God sent me to deliver his message. I am your new Messiah. You son of swine! Stop that! Your God is a myth. See for yourselves, there is no Messiah. Clarence, if you'll be so kind to walk on water. Damn.
That looks so funny. And so this is very interesting. What we're getting with the Book of Clarence. I just want to say as well, I was thinking about when I started back doing some trailer reviews, some movie reviews and such, that I wanted to keep with the original idea I had, in which I wanted to only deal with masterpieces or potential masterpieces. I didn't want to deal with mainstream television shows and movies that come on every week. And although I know that gives people a lot of content, I wanted the videos to be special, educational, and you're not going to get a lot of those when you're doing a type of video because artists just aren't going to produce masterpiece after masterpiece. I think the Book of Clarence has the potential to be a masterpiece. So hopefully when you watch these reviews, my reviews, you take away something special from it, or you get something out of it that you might not get from other ones, because I want to be very I want to be very specific and clear, and use discernment to try to pick the material I think is very high quality, high level material that's going to get you to think, and also something that you might not be aware of to help educate you a little bit on it. So going back to the life of Brian, right? The differences are in the life of Brian, which a lot of the critics are trying to compare this to, is the life of Brian is it is a different element of comedy. This is that very Mel Brooks like comedy feel, right? In the life of Brian. Now, in the Book of Clarence, the reason some people are already having trouble with the trailer and what this production could be is that they're not picking up on the comedy so much. And I think it's a reason for that. I think this is comedy, certainly, but it's a different type of comedy. It's a kind of new type of comedy a lot of us haven't seen. So, for example, the main character here, portrayed by Lakeith Stanfield, right? You know him from the Get Out movie. He's done a lot of stuff. Judas and the Black Messiah. He plays on the television show that I also think is a masterpiece, Atlanta. If anything, I probably should have reviewed some of those episodes. I think that would probably be in my lane a bit. But he's got a different. He does comedy, but he has a different type of comedy. So Lakeith Stanfield, a lot of us remember, we go back to the Get Out days, and I did do a Get Out movie review. You can watch if you like on the channel. But if you go back to the movie, the Get Out days, a lot of us watch those trailers thinking this is gonna be a jump out of your seat comedy, a roll around on the floor comedy, and we found out it was nothing like we thought. It was this very educational, Oscar winning production. And even though it was funny parts, it was so much of that movie that wasn't funny at all. And that's how I think the Book of Clarence is coming off, right? That's how come I think the Monty Python critics, the Book of Brian movie critics aren't getting this, because this is a different type of comedy. I also think it's a specific educational piece on the growth of human beings from religion to creating their own moral systems. Now, I know this part is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, and that is also what happened with the Life of Brian. Even though Life of Brian was kind of this outrageous comedy, it was seen as blasphemous back in the 70s when it was created. And so I don't think the Book of Clarence might be any different. I think that some religious people are going to see the Book of Clarence as a bit of a blasphemous piece. And I'll tell you why I think that is. The reason I think that has a lot to do with the idea of Clarence himself being a scammer, right? So this is the twist. This is the twist to the Book of Clarence. Clarence ends up being a scammer, and when he meets Jesus of Nazareth, right, or he has this encounter with him, he's looking at it through different eyes. He's looking at it like, oh, I can see this as a come up where I could scam a lot of people. I could pretend to cure the blind and heal the sick as such and make money from these people, right? This is a commentary, I think, on today's many of today's religious settings and the growth of humanity out of the Stone Age into and what some believe will be out of religion altogether. And of course, that's going to be concerning to many people, depending on their faith and belief systems, and understandably so. But this is the direction the film seems to be going in. Uh, and saying that the uh, evolution of human beings, the part of religion that some feel may have been part of our evolution, that humans will outgrow it. And I think that's what the commentary of this film is saying. Now, it's also very interesting that it's done with a minority cast, right? Because minorities are targeted generally, typically, as people who have been bamboozled by religion over the years. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that that is a commentary that could be made in the book of Clarence, right? As to say that there's a manipulation going on, there is a lack of education going on, and the people being exploited are minorities, the uneducated, and so on and so forth, right? Now, interesting enough, this is no different than the life of Brian, and I think that's why the comparisons keep getting made. In the life of Brian, the reason that Brian is mistaken for a Christ figure is has a lot more so to do with the analysis of the people around Brian being so dumb. Now, I personally think that was a dig at religious people, as to say again, religious people stuck in the Stone Age can't shake free from religion. For some reason, as humans, we hold on to it, right? That's what I think Life of Brian was saying, and that's why I got a lot of backlash. I think the Book of Clarence is saying the same thing, but I think it's more so saying it to certain minority uneducated groups, whereas before Life of Brian, I think was saying it to the masses of people, and I think that it's now just more being directed at minority people and people who kind of fit this category. Um, now, um, also interesting enough, and this is the part that I found very entertaining, and I'm very interested in watching. I like this, what I call a twist, and I love this part of the trailer, and that is where Clarence, who starts off as a scammer, we're kind of left in this ambiguous notion of when he's being held by the tribunal, the Romans, and he's has to test if he can actually walk on water, and they test it. It almost seems like he doesn't. Now, what that suggests is that Clarence was the real deal, which is kind of a twist from the Life of Brian, whereas Life of Brian, he he wasn't a scammer. He didn't start off as a scammer. He was just mistaken, but he didn't want to be mistaken. He didn't want to be any of it. And so in the Life of Brian, there's that kind of twist where he starts off as an unwilling participant, or where Claire starts as a willing participant to a scam to possibly become a real Christ-like figure. So that's going to be very, very interesting. There are also interesting music selections. They're doing the Pritz bit, kind of doing this modern day, putting it to this kind of period piece musical choice, which I liked. I liked the imagery, the costumes. I liked the little musical numbers. I thought it worked. Remember, this is kind of just a revisioning of what that era could have been like. Interesting enough, a lot of Christ-like, magical, guru-like figures were uh, prevalent in that time, in that area, in those areas, right? So a lot of people could perform magic and so on. So that's all very interesting. So this wasn't very uncommon for people to see. Like we tend to think of miracles, but it's kind of like how we see these a lot of these visuals today at magic shows and such. It was just a world where it was a lot of amazing things happening, and it was always kind of, I guess, that the people were on that borderline of this guy could be the real deal or it could be a hoax or so on. I think the Book of Clarence is looking good. Also, some good actors in this. James McAvoy from the well, the Last King of Scotland. You probably know him more familiar from the X-Men movies, playing the younger version of Professor Xavier, from playing in the M. Night Shyamalan films, Split, and the Glass series, right? The Unbreakable series. He's done many, many more films. And I can't think of the British actor at this time. You probably know him from Selma. You probably know him from Silo, the television show. You probably, he's done a lot of things. He's done a lot, but he seems to be playing this John the Baptist figure. And I can't think of his name right now. But he seems to be playing it. He's the one who has a little comical bit where he slaps Clarence, and he's playing this John the Baptist figure. So it seems like it's going to, and James McAvoy is playing, it looks like a Roman centurion. So it seems like a great cast is going to be in this. I think it's going to be a great production, but I do think it's going to go over some people's head as far as the comical bits, right? I think this is going to be more of a comical piece like Get Out. It looks like some of the same actors are in it. I don't know if the same people are behind it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was that way. But it's looking good. I'm glad that I got to review this piece because I was really thinking there's nothing out there really exciting me, nothing on TV. I was thinking about doing something with Star Wars, with Ahsoka. And it was just, it was okay, but it just didn't get there. The closest thing I'm getting to reviewing is one of the Arthurian Legends book series that came out some time ago called The Winter King, based on some of the old writings of Sir Mallory, who did Le Mort de Arthur, which translates from Latin to the death of Arthur, speaking about the Camelot legends and such. And I thought that might be a little deep enough, a little bit more meat on the bone substance to talk about. But even those episodes now are kind of a little meh. They're a little bland for me. They're okay, but they're not great. And I think the Book of Clarence can be great. Can be a great. I think it can come out as one of these Oscar-winning productions that could surprise people that people aren't really paying a lot of attention to, but it's just going to kind of pop out there. I can see that with this because we haven't quite seen anything like this in a while. This type of production. I think that's all I want to say in this episode, this review. I love to hear you guys' opinions. What you think this movie's going to be like? Are you going to go see it? As such. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other. And if you like content like this, if you like more of the more educational, more clever done productions that aren't just popcorn movies or things that you get bored and you watch a lot of filler through the episodes and hoping it'll end, or watching the clock. If you want something that really, productions like that, I'm going to try to bring you those. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because otherwise you won't know when I'm doing the next one and when they're out. But that's all I want to say in this video. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves, guys, and each other.